Cop Talk, presented by the Strong Blue Line Foundation and powered by Moose Ridge Coffee in Snake River Landing, Idaho Falls. Welcome to the podcast, where former San Antonio police officer, author, and pastor Tim Rupp walks you through real-life scenarios involving our police officers and digs into the depths of facts and opinions on each case. This is Cop Talk, and it starts now.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Strong Blue Line's Cop Talk. I'm Tim Rupp. I'm in beautiful western Arkansas as I record this. And in beautiful Idaho Falls is none other than station manager Gary Austin. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Tim Rupp.
Hey, this is unusual. This is the first time we're doing this.
I know. No, this is great. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're recording from the Southern Command, as Rush Limbaugh used to say. Southern Command. So I'm down here in Mena, Arkansas, and Sherry and I, as you guys know, you've been praying for us and stuff. We're on our southern trip. We've been here since last month. We came down in January after the holidays. We came down, stopped in Thornton, Colorado, to do a seminar there, a Winning Gunfight seminar. Thornton is a city just south of, just north of Denver, Colorado. So we were there. We had a good time, met some people.
Cool.
And had a really good seminar. And have made our way down further south. And we have seminars coming up this month and into March, and then heading back. And Gary, it's already been a whirlwind, and we're looking forward to the next couple months.
Yeah, it's that is fantastic, Tim. And while we're talking about it, it's through the Strong Blue Line Ministries. So where can people go to support you?
Oh, thank you. The strongblueline.org. The strongblueline.org. And you'll find the Strong Blue Line Foundation there, and you can donate to help us out. One of the places we went last month, we actually went all the way over to Georgia. And Gary,
wow.
Let me tell you, we go to Georgia for my son-in-law's graduating from the Forest Service Training Academy, the federal training academy.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And so we were supposed to go to that on the 22nd. On the 21st, they canceled it.
Oh, really?
Well, they postponed it. They postponed it for 2 days because of weather. Ice storm came through, and we were heartbroken. We were there with our daughter, and she was supposed to pin his badge on, and she had to fly out the day before, and we had to head back here. And there we go. So we made it back okay, but we're driving back from the coast of Georgia through snow. It's crazy.
Oh, and they don't know how to have snow, right? I mean,
no, they just the roads were just, they were not plowed because there's nothing to plow them with.
You're right.
They don't have snow plows and stuff. They were trying to, in some places, they were trying to graders, and they were doing some, but they're not prepared for this. They don't have the ice melt like we do, and it's just crazy.
Wow, that's unfortunate that they had to postpone it, but
they had to postpone it. So we missed the graduation. We were able to see it video. It was live stream video, so we saw it live stream video. But during that, we gave out some books. We gave out 21 to 22 books, and Dylan, my son-in-law, said, hey, can we get some more books? Some of the instructors wanted them.
That's great.
So we sent some more books to them for the instructors. So all the money that's going for the Strong Blue Line Foundation is helping to support that. So
that is cool.
We're really excited about that. And another thing I mentioned to you, Gary, that we also have on the website available for law enforcement officers, or for those who's ministering to law enforcement officers, they can order a copy of my book, Suicide is Not an Option, for free. And we get to this to officers. They can go there, they can order it. And I was telling you last last year, at the end of last year, right about Christmas time, I received an order from somebody in San Antonio, an officer in San Antonio. And I come to find out that this person, this officer, had known me when I was a sergeant on the police department. They were working as a civilian on the police department, became an officer just before I retired 20 years ago. And this officer was struggling, and the officer did not realize that when they ordered the book from the Strong Blue Line Foundation that it was me.
Oh.
And they got it, and they recognized the name, and they saw the book. They said, "Oh my goodness, this is Sergeant Rupp." And so they reached out to me. Officers have ways of getting my personal phone number, and this officer got my personal phone number. We started texting, and they got the book and they read it, and they said that book was instrumental for them changing their mind about committing suicide.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness, Tim.
It absolutely is, and I'm tearing up now. I'm glad I'm out there in the studio because that the Lord used this book to actually save the life of somebody that I worked with, 20 years ago on the police department. It's just an amazing thing. So
such a far-reaching ministry, Tim. It really is. I don't. When you hear those kinds of things, it helps you recognize what you're doing and the importance of it. And I appreciate that. It makes me tear up because I come, my dad was an officer, and so my heart, was soft for officers in general, but the struggles that they go through, and that is amazing that they got in touch with you and shared that with you. That is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is. So, and so we don't know how many people are being touched by the books.
No.
We just don't know because most people are never going to contact me, never going to say anything. So
yeah. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to hear their encouragement now. And so, but Gary, we got a show to do.
We do.
And so let's get after it. First thing we're going to do, as we always do, we're going to honor the officers who were killed in the line of duty on this day in history. And I've got an officer back from 1874, and as many of these older ones, not a lot of information. This is police officer John Shannon Day, John Day, from Denison Police Department, Texas. Denison is located east of Dallas, not far from the Oklahoma line. End of watch is Thursday, February 5th, 1874. It says this, all it is. Officer Day was shot and killed while attempting to arrest several men at a saloon during a disturbance. That's it. That's all we have on Officer Day.
Huh.
Yeah, that's so. Here we go again. We see a lot of these shootings, especially but even today, they all deal around alcohol and drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
People start getting intoxicated or drugged up, and they don't make right decisions.
No. Very impaired. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you have there, Gary?
Well, this is Police Officer Nicholas Daniel O'Rear from the Kimberly Police Department out of Alabama. End of watch, February 5th, 2020. So 5 years ago, this was. It doesn't seem like that far before, but 5 years, okay.
What was going on? This was right at the time when the COVID was coming out.
Oh, yes.
A couple months before George Floyd. 2020 was kind of a significant year.
That's a good point. Yeah, strange things happened back then.
Yeah.
So this is an officer with the Warrior, Alabama Police Department. He initiated a pursuit when he attempted to conduct a traffic stop. This was on the freeway there. And so Officer O'Rear responded to assist in this pursuit when the man opened fire. And it struck Officer O'Rear, and his vehicle then crashed nearby. He was transported to a local hospital where he later succumbed to his wounds. And this was just several hours later, like 3 hours later after this pursuit started. But the driver fled into a different county where he was taken into custody and subsequently charged with capital murder. In 2022, the subject pleaded guilty to intentional murder to avoid the death penalty. So Officer O'Rear served with the Kimberly Police Department for 1 year and had previously served with the Asheville Police Department, survived by his 2 children with a 3rd child on the way. He was 33 years old.
2 children, 1 on the way. Think of the wife, left behind.
Oh, man. And his tour was 2 years. I mean, so he was young, a little bit older, but young, in his tour. So.
That's too bad. Okay, well, what we're going to talk about today, Gary, is threats to our homeland. I think this was, I come across this article. It comes out of Law Enforcement Today, online, and it's an editorial piece.
Okay.
So, and it's written by William Henry Challans, a retired Denver police officer. So we got to realize that it's an editorial piece. It's an opinion piece.
Okay.
He makes some good points here. And the title of the article that he wrote for Law Enforcement Today is Homeland Security Alert. Do we need to prepare for a widespread impending attack?
Oh, wow.
And this, I just read a book. I think it was called The Attack, and it's a fictional book, but it's based in today. And the whole book was about an attack, kind of like the attack that Hamas did in Israel, but it was widespread across the whole country, all across America. So it was an interesting read. But we got to make sure that we're not, I'm not going through this to cause fear mongering and people to be all worried about stuff.
Yeah.
But we also need not to go through life with our head in the sand.
Exactly.
I know I talk to some people like, I don't even want to watch the news because, they just talk about stuff that, may happen. Well, we need to be aware of the dangers, the real dangers that are out there, and we need to balance it with a practical approach. So I'm going to go through this article as we go through here, and we're going to talk about this and kind of break it down and see how it pertains to us.
Okay.
So this is an opinion piece written by Henry Challans, retired Denver police officer. He writes this. Several months ago, I penned an article, Brace for Impact, warning about a potential multi-phased attack on and in the American homeland. Like a perfect storm, outside collaborative forces are gathering to strike. Recent political, social, and economic situations were joining forces to create potential chaos. An open border allowing millions of unknown bad actors access into the country, uncontrolled crime, excessive inflation, political hatred verging on civil war, inept leadership, and multiple international conflicts with nuclear overtones were just a few of the matchsticks that could start the forest on fire.
My goodness. Yeah, just those two. Just those two right there is scary. Like this is real,
It is, and that's the thing. You read about that, and it's like it reads like the beginning of some fictional sci-fi movie.
Right, it does.
But we're actually living in that, and of course now we've got a new administration. Things have changed, and I think even with this plane wreck last week that's being investigated.
Yes.
The initial reports, and when President Trump came out and Defense Secretary Hegseth and the Secretary of Transportation, they came out, they gave us information right away, and they just sound like, hey, we're going to investigate this, we're going to let you know what's going on.
Yeah. So
it gave me encouragement that we have leaders in place now that's going to do a good job.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways, he continues on. He says, all these roads seem to be converging and may still ultimately clash together if not mitigated. There were too many red flags to ignore the impending disasters. So the crux of the article was to prepare for the worst just in case. And that's what we're talking about, Gary. This is just, he wrote this previous article. I'm not sure when. He doesn't say when he wrote it, but this article, this opinion piece was written January 13th. So just less than a month ago when this was published. He goes on, Challans goes on. The red flags are not only still present, but seem to be multiplying exponentially. Even low-level, super conservative estimates of bad actors such as cartel criminals, gang members, saboteurs, terrorists, killers, and foreign enemy agents infiltrating through the southern border is frightening at the very least. And Gary, we've seen how many people that Homeland Security, ICE, and so forth have already arrested.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
Lots.
rounding up thousands of criminals.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh my goodness, you know, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. I mean, you read this article and you think, I mean, these 10 million, entering in the last 4 years, that is just downright ridiculous.
He mentioned that. He mentions 10 million, and there's some estimates that are 12 million.
Yeah.
But he says 10 million, and he says even if just 1% of those are bad actors, that's 100,000 evil doers. Here says to do that's. Imagine 100,000 people. He continues in retrospect, only about 1,000 Hamas terrorists participated in the October 7th, 2023 Israeli massacre, killing over 1,200 civilians. You know, you think about what they did. They just went in over a wall, and he points out that we don't even have a wall.
Yeah.
They're already here. So if you take some actors and they just attacked, say little old Idaho Falls, you have a couple hundred guys that just come in and just start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that many police officers.
No. By the time they bring in any kind of military police or, that is a very scary thought because a lot of people could, perish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what are you going to do if they attack, say they sent just 100 to Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
And 100 to Pocatello and 100 to Twin Falls. What are you going to send the military to? You start calling up these reserve units.
That's true.
And if it's a coordinated attack across the country, but it's just something to think about.
Sure is. Yeah.
So, we need to, look at the red flag warnings and be aware of these things. Mm-hmm. He says this in his article. It says, if you research terror threats on any search engine, you'll find more than enough evidence of warnings by senior officials and documents from federal agencies. The FBI director, this was written on the 13th of last month, so we have new people coming to these positions. But Christopher Wray, the former director, warned of this stuff. And so I think it's going to come more to light as we go on. Challenge continues. He said, I point out a recent specific interview from the Shark Coast Tactical Podcast with guest speaker CIA agent Sarah Adams, who reveals a planned Al-Qaeda attack in America using 1,500 Al-Qaeda operatives for a multifaceted attack sometime in 2025.
My goodness.
So these are some specific things.
Yeah, they are.
They've got numbers. They got sometime in 2025 a multifaceted attack. So if you attack, and you think about it, if you want to do damage and stuff, you're going to attack the softer targets.
Yeah.
So they're going to look. Where's the best place to go? It may not be Idaho Falls. It may be Boise. It may be Seattle. It may be New York. Who knows what they're looking at?
Right.
But they want to do the most. They want to spread terror the most they can.
And it is. You would think of the bigger cities. things like that, the most lives lost, perhaps. But when you think of even our infrastructure, the INL site, that could be a big target.
Exactly, because you know what, and unfortunately, it's remote where it's at, and they have security out there. That just thinking through it, that would be a tough site to handle, to go out there.
It really would.
To do that. So, and I think that's why it's where it's located at.
Exactly.
That's exactly why. So it would be a prime target. You're right, Gary. It would be probably one of the top prime targets in America.
Mm-hmm.
But just to get to it and to do all that stuff and try to move, guys out there. So that's good.
Tough.
I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, good to be aware.
Yeah. Be aware of the stuff. Challenge continues. As I write this, we have already seen 2 terror attacks since 2025 began. And now LA County is burning. Talking about the fires out there. And he says whether this is due to intentional arson by terrorists or natural conditions is irrelevant. We can see the government was not ready to respond, mitigate, or prevent this disaster. And he makes a point there.
He does.
Another recent red flag is the drone flap over New Jersey. Now, President Trump just last week came out and he said, hey, this was FAA, knew about what was going on and stuff. But I just can't believe that the previous administration just didn't come out and tell us what was going on.
I know. I thought that exact thing. That's all it would have taken.
And just to do that, think about that. You could get a drone. Somebody could just get a drone and just do something and just kill a couple people, and that would scare people.
Yeah.
Every time I saw a drone or something.
Mm-hmm.
So terrorists, that's what they want to do. They want to spread terror.
Yes.
To make people scared.
Mm-hmm.
And so he talks about these drones and stuff, and I hope we get that taken care of and take care of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this article, he finishes up and he concludes. I know we're getting close in the time here today, but he talks about sharing intelligence and looking for things and keeping on the lookout and he's really writing to law enforcement officers, and he's saying, hey, our law enforcement agencies, are we ready? Are law enforcement officers looking for these potential things, whether they're in a rural setting, whether they're in a small American city like Idaho Falls, or they're in a large city? For officers to be on the lookout, but not only officers need to be on the lookout, citizens need to keep these things in mind. And if you see something that's out of place, just report it.
Yep, exactly.
Everybody has a phone now. It doesn't take anything to make a phone call to local police. Hey, I saw something over here. Not sure what it is, but I just wanted to let you know this is what I saw, and some FYI. Then they can investigate that.
Right.
They can follow up and do some investigation. And when they start putting pieces together, you may save a terrorist attack from happening.
Exactly.
So it's important to do that. And it looks like we're running out of time today, but next week we're really going to talk specifically about threats to churches and what's going on. And then we're going to go on. We're going to talk about, well, what do we do as church? So I want to talk about that. We're out of time tonight. Hey, thanks for listening in. If you have a topic or question you want addressed on Cop Talk, send me an email. You can email suggestions, questions, comments, or complaints to coptalk@therev.fm. That's coptalk@therev.fm. Thought from the good book today. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Thanks for joining us today and helping to make the thin blue line a strong blue line.
Cop Talk is presented by the Strong Blue Line Foundation and sponsored by Moose Ridge Coffee in Snake River Landing, Idaho Falls. Questions and comments are always welcome by email to coptalk@therev.fm. Listen, follow, leave a review, and share this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or YouTube. And visit thestrongblueline.org to learn how you can be a supporter. Cop Talk is a Rev FM production, produced and edited by Gary Austin. Thank you for joining us on Cop Talk.